welcome to our Tuesday morning lockdown yoga. Hope you're well. So today we'll be focusing on twists and abdominal toners. So, strengthening and toning the abdominal muscles or the core is really important for good posture and protection from lower back discomfort. Twists are also beneficial for your digestive system, and they can give you a bit of a lift when you're feeling tired and lethargic, or a bit of a release when you're feeling wound up. Okay, let's go. Let's give it a go, shall we? We're going to come down into any easy laying position. So you may want to come into Shavasana, you may want to come into semi-supine position, whatever feels good for you. And we're going to put our hands on our tummy. So feel a lengthening of the spine along the mat as you take the chin towards the chest. And close your eyes and start to draw your focus inwards. Bring your focus to your breath. Of your body moving with your breath, so that movement in the chest, movement in the ribs, can you feel any movement in your tummy? Trying to encourage here nice full deep breathing, so you can feel all the way down in your abdomen. Let's take a couple more breaths in. And then keeping the focus with your breath, we're going to connect it to movement, Apanasana. So knees come into your chest. Put the hands on top of the knees. Next time you breathe in, just push the knees away. Keep contact with hands and knees. And as you breathe out, hug them in towards your chest. Let's go a couple more times. This pose is great for freeing trapped energy in the spine. Go one more time. Breathing in to push away. Breathing out to hug. Nice way to warm up. Okay, come down to this semi-supine position. So we'll have the knees and feet hip distance. We're going to take hold of the elbows, so we're still flowing with our breath. A nice little twist with breath. Let's take a breath in. And as you breathe out, take your knees over to the left and your elbows and gaze to the right. So it's like you're wringing yourself out. Let's breathe that into the centre. And as you breathe out, take your knees to the right, your elbows and gaze to the left. Breathe into the centre. Let's take that a couple more times. See if you can get your elbows and your knees a little bit lower to the ground this time. This is really lovely for your back and hips, this one. Keep flowing with your breath. So it's an out breath as you twist. It's an in breath to draw that into the centre. Should we just go one more time with that? It's feeling good. So when we come back into the middle this time, release your arms to the side, palms down, just check feet and knees are still hip distance, and maybe just draw your feet a little bit closer towards the bottom. We're coming up into bridge pose, chin towards the chest. We're going to take a breath in, push the hips up towards the ceiling. Really push into the mat with your feet and with your shoulders. You can keep it here with hands in contact with the mat, or you can interlace the fingers to make one big fist, and you'll be able to squeeze the shoulder blades together a bit more here and maybe get a little bit more lift. See how that feels. And pause for 3 breaths. for 2, for 1. Let's release, slowly come down. Knees to chest pose, so hug those knees in nice and tight. Get that lovely stretch going on in your lower back. Maybe even rock from side to side. And we'll take a yin twist this time. Your next in-breath, taking a full body stretch. And then bring your right knee in towards your chest. Left hand takes hold. Take that knee all the way across the body, so you're stretching from left foot to right hand. Really stretch it out. And 3 nice big deep breaths here. And bring that into the centre. Full body stretch. Let's take that twist to the other side. So left knee comes in towards the chest. Right hand takes hold. Let's take it across. Stretching from right foot to left hand. One more breath in. And release that to the centre. Let's bring the knees in towards the chest again. Maybe a little rock and roll. Another twist with breath. This time we're going to keep the feet off the mat. So take the arms out to the side, palms up or palms down, whichever you prefer. This time apply your internal lock. So drawing up on pelvic floor and pulling your belly button back towards the spine. Finding your breath. Take a breath in here, and then next time you breathe out, with control, lower knees over to the left. Take your gaze to the right. Squeeze that into the centre on an in-breath. And then on an out-breath, take your knees to the right, your gaze to the left. Breathe that into the centre. How's this feeling on your back? If it isn't suiting you, pop the feet back on the floor. We're going to go a couple more times. It's an out-breath to twist. It's an in-breath to draw it into the centre. Those internal locks still applied. We're going to go one more time. And get your knees a little bit closer to the floor this time. Perfect. Okay. So bring the knees into the centre. You keep the arms where they are. We're going to float the feet up to the ceiling, waterfall pose. So keep the feet relaxed to begin with, maybe knees soft. Just see how you're feeling in the hamstrings. Couple of breaths. We're going to increase this stretch slightly by pulling toes back to the shins, pushing the heels upwards as we push the backs of the knees away, and push your sacrum down into the mat. Really stretch for the back of the legs. Taking a couple of breaths here. Okay, and release. Bring those knees into the chest. Maybe rock from side to side, give your lower back a nice massage. And then we're going to rock up to seated. Cross-legged position. Taking your right ankle in front of your left. Just take this right arm to the side. So we're going to do a side stretch and then a twist. Next, in breath, taking left arm. Nice big reach up and then reach across. Pushing into the mat with your left sitting bone as you pull back with your top shoulder. One more breath in. Okay, then release. Right knee now, we're going to have it so it's pointing up towards the ceiling. Hug it in tightly with your left arm. Take a breath in here to lengthen, and as you breathe out, twist to the right. So you're glancing over your right shoulder. See if you can encourage that left knee down to the mat a little bit more. Sitting nice and upright as we twist. Some more breaths. Opposite side then, so left foot in front of your right. Let's take a breath in to reach up to the ceiling right hand. And as you breathe out, reach across. Push into the mat, right sitting bone. Pull back with that top shoulder. And release. Let's take it into the twist. So left knee this time pointing towards the ceiling. Hug it in closely with your right arm. Take a breath in here. And on an out breath, twist to the left. Glancing over that left shoulder. And see if you get your right knee down to the mat a little bit. And release. Lovely. How are we all feeling? And we're starting to warm up. So, come to the back of your mats, please. We're going to take an extended child's pose and add a twist. So big toes touching, knees a generous distance apart, but keep them on your mat. Keeping the bottom snuggle down towards the heels. We're going to stretch the arms out. So perhaps come onto your fingertips and creep them away as far as you can without lifting the bottom. This is the part where I often come round in class and just put my hands on the back of people's hips to encourage that nice stretch. So add in the twist. We're going to leave the left hand where it is. Take this right hand and thread it underneath the left armpit. So you're resting on right ear, right shoulder. Creep the left fingertips away. Try and relax into this twist. Taking one more breath. Okay, let's release this right arm then, stretch it out in the centre. And twist the other way, so take this left hand underneath your right armpit, so you're resting on left ear, left shoulder. Keep stretching up with the right, so you get this nice stretch on the shoulder. One more breath. Nice. Okay, and release. You come up to an all fours position. We're going to hold our cow pose and hold our cat stretch. So, and we've practiced this the last couple of weeks, you can either have your wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath hips, or you can have them a little bit closer if you get a better stretch for your spine that way. I'm going to have them a little bit closer today. Wherever you are with it, apply your hand blocks, so be spreading your fingers, pushing your fingertips, the mantle of your thumb into the mat. Lock the elbows. Next, in breath, send the chest and the gaze forwards. Little dip in the lower back as you send your sitting bones high. We're going to pause here, holding the pose today. Taking a couple of breaths. So you've got that little nip in the shoulder blades. Tummy's relaxed. Let's take our cat stretch. So really push down into the mat with your hands and knees as you dome the back as much as you can. Separation in the shoulder blades as you take your chin to your chest and tilt your pelvis towards your navel. Can you dome that back a little bit more? Pausing for 3, for 2, for 1, and release. So, if your hands and knees are a bit closer together, let's set that tabletop position then with knees under hips and wrists underneath shoulders. With that hand lock applied, we're going to flow from here into downward facing dog with our breath a few times. So let's turn the toes. Let's take a breath in and take the bottom up, push it back, downward facing dog. And as you breathe out with control, lower back down to that starting position. Let's do that a couple more times. So breath in to lift. And downward facing dog again. We're going to walk it out and bend and stretch. So take a breath in to come up. Softening the knees, push into the mat, get your chest closer to your thighs. And let's walk our dog. Nice slow stroll as we pedal the heels up and down. Neck is soft. Bend the left one more time, bend the right one more time. And then we're going to bend both together. Push into the mat with the hands, chest closer to the thighs. And sink the heels down as you straighten your legs. Let's do that a couple more times. So bend, push, sink the heels down. And again, bend, push, and sink. How's that stretch feeling on your shoulders? Feeling good? One more breath here. And then lowering the knees down towards the mat. Let's just release the shoulders in a child's pose. So taking the elbows down. Taking a couple of breaths here. Maybe a few wrist rotations if you're feeling it in the wrist this morning. Okay. So we're coming back to an all fours position. We're taking twisted dog this time. I don't think we've done this in our Tuesday morning lockdown sessions. So this might be new to some of you. So set your tabletop pose. We're going to turn the toes and lift downward facing dog. Try and ground through both feet and your right hand. So for some of you, you might want to shorten your dog slightly if that helps you to ground through the feet easier. So really pushing into that right hand. How does it feel to lift the left hand off the mat? We're just going to take it onto that right elbow for now. How's that feel? And start to take your gaze towards your right armpit. So how's that feeling on your shoulder? If you don't like it, take that hand back down and just turn the gaze to the right. If you want more, you can take this this left hand and place on the outside of your right ankle. And maybe sort of pull yourself a little bit deeper into the twist if that feels good for you this morning. So take a couple more breaths here. Okay, and release. Let's take that to the centre. How was that? Maybe walk it out if you need to. So let's take that on to the other side. So from your downward facing dog, ground into your left hand and take your right hand to your left elbow. Take your gaze to your left armpit. You can keep it here, or you can go a bit further by taking this right hand to left ankle and pull yourself into a lovely twisted dog. For 3, for 2, for 1, nice, okay, and release, let's pedal it out. I'm going to walk the feet all the way to the hands this time to take a nice dangling pose. So catch hold of your elbows, knees are soft, neck soft, and just let yourself hang loose. Quite tough on the shoulders, that twisted dog, isn't it? So we're going to roll up, we're going to come into upward facing mountain and then take a side stretch. Use your next in-breath to come up. Let's take the arms back alongside the ears. And then reach fingertips up towards the ceiling. So you can have the palm shoulder distance or you can have the palms touching. And reach up and reach back with the hands as you ground into the mat with your feet. Okay, and release the hands. Let's take it into our side stretch. Next in-breath, we're taking the right hand. And on an out-breath, stretch across. Reaching down outside edge of leg, left side as you pull back right shoulder. You push into your right foot. How's that feel? And release. Let's take that other side. Breathe in, take left arm up. Breathe out, side stretch. And then chest and gaze towards the ceiling as you push into your left foot. And release. Lovely. Okay, we'll take a forward fold. So feet hip distance. Just spreading the toes, pushing your feet into the mat. We'll take the hands to the hips. On an in-breath, you're lengthening through the upper body. And on an out-breath, keep that length as you hinge forward at the hips. Take hold of outside edge of ankles and pull your chest closer to your thighs, sending the sitting bones up towards the ceiling as you pull the crown of the head down towards the mat. Take the elbows out to the side. Shoulders away from the ears. 3 more breaths in. 1 more breath. And take your hands to your hips. Engage the core. Next in-breath. Come up. And release. Okay, we're going to go again. This time we're going to add a twist to our forward fold. So take your hands to your hips, breath in to lengthen, out breath to fold forwards. This time take your right hand behind the back of the waist and left hand to the outside edge of your right ankle. Take a breath in to prepare, and as you breathe out, twist to the right. So you're pulling back with that right shoulder. You might be able to get that right arm a little bit further around the back of your waist. Couple more breaths here. And release. Take hold of the ankles again. Just pull chest a bit closer to your thighs. Let's twist to the left. So left arm behind the back of the waist. Right hand, left ankle. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, twist to the left, so you're pulling back with that left shoulder, taking your gaze up towards the ceiling. Okay, and release. Take hold of the ankles again. Can you get chest even closer to the thighs? We're going to exit chair pose. Sink the bottom down. Reach the arms forwards in your half chair. So you're reaching back with your sitting bones, reaching forward fingertips. Start to take the thumbs back, lifting the chest, lifting the gaze. Pausing for 3, for 2, for 1. Breathe in to come back to your upward facing mountain. Breathe out to release your arms. How are we feeling? So we're coming into chair pose and we're going to add a twist. For chair pose today we're going to have our feet together. So if you take your big toes that are touching and just have the heels slightly apart, that will help keep you nice and steady. And get a sense of squeezing everything into the centre line. So keep these internal locks applied. I'm going to take the hands together heart center. Let's take a breath in to prepare. And a breath out to squat down into your chair pose. So weight evenly distributed on fronts and backs of feet. Keep the body nice and long, chest lifted. Another breath in here. Then as you breathe out, twist to the right. Left elbow, right knee, gaze towards the ceiling. Can you sink that bottom a bit lower? Couple of breaths here. Anyone starting to feel it in their tummy yet with all these twists? Next in breath, come to the centre. We'll twist into the left. So twist on an out breath. Right elbow, left knee. The bottom a bit lower. 2 more breaths. And release to the centre, reach arms forwards, back to this half chair, held the thighs. Take the thumbs back. And then breathe in, upward facing mountain. Breathe out, release. Ooh. Okay. I think we'll step, give the legs a bit of a rest, or the thighs anyway. We're going to step landscape on the mats and take the legs wide. So we'll come into a wide leg forward fold and we'll add a twist. I think we did this a couple of sessions ago. So toes in, heels out. Suck your thigh muscles back to your thigh bones. Let's take the hands to the hips. In breath to lengthen. And an out breath to fold forwards. Okay, can you release your hands to the mat underneath your shoulders? And just sort of let the weight of your head carry you forward. How does that feel? Opportunity to catch your breath here. Let's take a fingertip breath this time. So what I mean by that is on an in-breath, lifting and coming up onto your fingertips. So what you get, you just turn to the side. Get this nice length in your spine. Try not to lean forward. So sitting bones still going back. Spine's nice and long. Gaze can be forwards. And then we're going to add a twist. So bring your left hand into the centre. And on your next in-breath, float the right one up to the ceiling. You push into the left so you can reach up higher with the right. Your gaze is up towards that raised thumb. And release. So take the right hand where the left one was. We'll take the other side. Breathe in, take the left hand high. And push into the right so you can raise that left a little bit more. And release. Relax the upper body. Soften the knees. We're going to come back up then. So take the hands to the hips. Use your in-breath to come up. And we're going to step back towards the top of the mat. Okay, a high crescent lunge and then we're going to add a twist. So it's a variation of revolve side angle pose. Feet to hip distance. So your mountain pose, feeling strong. We're going to take the left leg back. Really lovely big step back. Deep bend right leg, internal locks applied. Let's take the hands up towards the seat. As you reach up, fingertips sink down a bit lower with your hips, pushing that back heel down towards the mat. Your gaze is raised. Sing for 3 breaths, for 2, for 1. Bring the palms together now and draw the palms down in front of your heart centre. It's a breath in to lengthen and a breath out to fold forwards. You have the option to keep it here, or option on your next out breath to hook your left elbow over your right knee. How is that feeling for you? If you want to, for a variation, you can take left hand down, right hand up. Wherever you are, one more breath. So if the hands are apart, bring them back in front of your heart centre and release. We're going to take the hands down to the mat. So you come into a low lunge position. Just pausing here. And how does it feel to straighten that front leg? I think that feels quite nice. Okay, and release. Now we're going to bring back foot to meet the right. Take hold of the elbows and slowly roll up. Okay, I'm going to take that sequence opposite side. So set your mountain pose. Step back, right leg. Sink the hips down, send the hands high. Bring your right thigh muscle towards your right thigh bone. Your high crescent lunge. Shoulders pulled away from the ears. Bring the palms together and draw them down in front of your chest. In breath to lengthen. Out breath to fold forward. Keep it here or add the twist. Right elbow to left knee. And if you've taken a twist, you have the option to open the hands. Bring the hands back together. Release your twist. Let's take the hands down to the floor so you've come into a low lunge position. And then maybe just come to your fingertips to create a bit more space as you straighten that left leg. Oh, lovely stretch that. And we're going to release. Right foot to the left. Take hold of your elbows and come up. And release. Okay, so we're going to take a balance now. I practiced this earlier on and I was wobbling all over the place, so please bear with me. It's quite a simple balance, I'm just a bit wobbly today. We're coming into a mountain pose. So find a spot on the floor, on the wall to help you focus. And I'm going to take the weight into the left foot. So coming onto the toes of the right. I'm just simply going to take knee to chest pose. So we're hugging that right knee towards the chest. Lifting the knee up, drawing the knee in. And then can you hold it in place with your left hand as you take your right hand to the hip. How does that feel? If you want to add the twist, and this is where I got a bit wobbly, take your right hand out to the side and then shift your gaze from that spot on the floor or the wall to your right thumb. So we've got kind of a half twist thing going on here. How does it feel to take a full twist? By taking that right arm to the back of the room and then shifting your gaze to the back of the room also. And if you're feeling really balanced, you can catch hold of your right big toe, where is it? And start to straighten that right leg. And release. And come back down. And that went a bit better than first thing this morning. So remember, you know, you can stay here at the first part if you prefer this morning. See how we get on with that on the other side, shall we? So back to your mountain pose. Grounding through the right foot, come onto the toes of the left. And let's take our knee to chest pose. Drawing the knee up, drawing the knee in. And hold it in place with that right hand. Left hand on the hip. Maybe take this left arm out to the side. Shift your gaze to that left thumb. And take that left hand to the back of the room. So you've got your full twist now. And you shift your gaze to the back of the room as well. Maybe catch hold of your left big toe. Maybe straighten that left leg. And release. Oh, how was that? Okay, coming down now. A couple of seated twists to finish. So we'll come down in a squat, I think. Take your heels about hip distance, maybe slightly wider. Hands together, heart centre, float up onto the balls of your feet. Engage your internal locks. Let's sink the bottom down towards the mat. Malasana, your garland pose. Okay, reaching the hands forwards. Rounding the spine as you start to lower the bottom. Let's come down to seated. And take the legs wide. So you can have your feet relaxed for this. Grounding into the sitting bones. We're just going to take, to begin with, this left arm behind the back of the waist. Right hand to left thigh. In breath to lengthen, and an out breath to twist to the left. So you're pulling back with that left shoulder. We are going to take this into a side stretch. So we're trying to keep this left shoulder pulled back. We're taking the right hand now on the outside edge of right leg. Breath in to lengthen, and as you breathe out, we're going to stretch over to the right. So it's right hand stretching down right leg, travelling towards your foot. Keep pulling back left shoulder. You can either keep it here or take this left arm up and across. If you feel you've sort of collapsed into it by shifting the position of that left arm, keep it where it is. And what's happened to your left sitting bone? Has it peeled up off the mat like mine? If it has, try and ground it back down into the mat, and that will increase that lovely stretch up the left side of your body. So you can keep the feet relaxed, or some of you may prefer to have the feet flex. It might just increase the stretch slightly at the back of the legs. And release. Coming back to the centre, let's take those couple of poses left side then. So we'll take this right arm behind the back of the waist. Left hand, right thigh. Breath in to lengthen. Breath out to twist. Glancing over this right shoulder. Take it into our side stretch. So left hand outside edge of left thigh. Start to reach down outside edge of that leg. Towards the foot. You might catch hold of the foot, you might not. And you can keep the right hand here, or you can take the right hand up and reach across. And then push down with that right sitting bone. Feet relaxed, feet flexed, whichever you prefer. One more breath here. And release. Keep the legs where they are. Wide leg forward fold, not a very popular one. So shift any fleshy bits around your sitting bones. And let's take the hands in front. So for some of you, this will definitely be enough and you'll be keeping it here. Just enjoying that lovely stretch, inner thighs, back of the legs. If you feel you can come forwards a little bit more, see how it feels to walk the hands forward. Try and keep the chest lifted, try and keep the spine long. Might be coming forwards just a little bit. Or you may want to rest on your forearm. See how that feels for you. Keep with your breath. The time you breathe in, feel a lengthening of the spine. As you breathe out, see if you can relax a little bit further forwards. You may even want to take your hands out on your fingertips like we did earlier on with that wide-kneed extended child's pose with the twist. You may want to creep the hands forward and start to take the head towards the mat. See how you feel. We'll all be somewhere different with this pose. But wherever you are, work it with your breath. Breath in to lengthen. Breath out to relax. And 2 more breaths. And releasing. Walking on up. How did that feel? Bring the legs in, give that helping hand if you need to. We've got one more pose to do, revolved abdomen pose. So we're going to bend the legs. Reach the arms out in front and come down to a semi-supine position. So it's building on something we did at the very beginning of the practice today. We're taking the arms out to the side, shoulder height. Again, you can have palms up or palms down, whichever you prefer. And we're bringing the knees into the chest, applying your internal locks. So, if you want to, you can stick to what we did at the beginning, so just a simple twist with breath. Maybe even with the feet on the floor if that's better for your back. Or, you can come to this waterfall position, feet flex, so leg muscles engage, internal locks applied, and we're going to twist with our breath with our legs in this position. Okay, so just find your breath. Next, out breath with control, take your legs over to the left, your gaze to the right. Ooh, open out space. Breathe in to come into the centre. And then breathe out, your legs over to the right, your gaze to the left. Breathe in centre. How's that feel? If it's not for your back, your legs are going to be bent or your feet are going to be on the floor. We're going to go a couple more times. Remember, you twist on an out breath. And you use your in-breath to come into the centre. Make the move as smooth and controlled as you can. It's not easy. We're going to go one more time. Legs over to the right, your gaze to the left. Breathing that into the centre. Feet on the floor, our closing pose, reclined bound angle pose. So you can leave the arms where they are, but if you did have your palms facing down, turn them up now so you've got this nice sort of space and feeling of surrender. And open the knees to the side, soles of the feet together. Chin slightly towards the chest and just close your eyes. Tummy be soft, your chest be open. Allow your body to melt down into this pose. Focus to your breath. Just like we did at the very beginning of our practice this morning, trying to encourage full, deep abdominal breathing, so breathing all the way down into your tummy. Taking one more breath in. And release and close, hugging your knees into the chest. Nice little rock and roll. And coming up to seated. Thank you very much, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that session and that you feel thoroughly twisted now. So on Saturday the 27th of June, I'm doing an online inversion workshop where we'll be sort of experimenting with headstands, maybe building up to a handstand. So if balancing on your head is your thing, please contact me for more details. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you all soon. Bye, have a nice day. Bye-bye.